play.
Hello guys, we are meeting once again for the first match in Dubai, for the first center court match in Dubai, but today it's actually all on center court when it comes to the singles. And Jiri Lehecka is taking on Alexander Bublik, and I guess today we are here sort of to answer the age-old question of whether Alexander Bublik, the grinder, shows up again, and whether Alexander Bublik will again have that determination, that focus, that willingness to dig deep that has been characterizing his season so far, with a couple of exceptions maybe. But in generally speaking, obviously the Montpellier run was the biggest example. 4 comebacks from a set down, but even here he had a phenomenal win over Thomas Machac in the opening round. Yesterday against Talon Griekspoor as well, the sort of more gutsy, the braver player in the key moments, targeting the Griekspoor backhand when it mattered as well. And right now he's playing Jiri Lehecka, and of course it's as usual with Bublik matches. It is pretty hard to tell you who's the favorite, as Bublik does make most of his encounters a bit of a lottery. However, Lehecka has been hitting very well this week. Obviously, this is also a good court for him with the way it plays, sort of similarly to a faster indoor surface, even in a way. Well, yesterday the wind kind of came in, but if we take that out of consideration, like it's just really slick, fast. So both players should definitely enjoy it. Personally, I would say that Lehecka is probably a bit of a favorite, but yeah, if we see Bublik again in that really like focused lockdown mode, it's very possible that he will grind his way to another win. And as I said, this is of course the first Dubai quarterfinal. Coming up later will be Sebastian Korda against Andrei Rublev, and then in the evening session, as they call it, Daniel Medvedev against Alejandro Davidovich Fokina, and Hubert Hurkacz against Ugo Humbert. This one is probably the most exciting one today for me. Unless Korda does something against Rublev, I don't know if I quite buy it, despite him losing just 3 games in the first 2 matches. But if he does, I will definitely be watching that one as well. The evening session does not really, make my expectations too high. I mean, just not too invested in the matchups, I suppose. And Alexander Bublik against Jiri Lehecka. Yes, we are already in the second game. Jiri Lehecka just claiming a very easy hold at the very beginning, but now things might be getting tricky for Bublik, as he tried to pull off a drop shot on the first point. He netted it, and then he lost a longer rally. Lehecka had a chance to make him pay sort of for not getting the job done with his serve here once again, but now he is the one cracking first with this forehand. So 15-30, but still the pressure is high right away on the Kazakh. Lehecka, of course, yesterday he beat Karen Khachanov, and it was quite a performance as well, because he saved 5 match points, I believe, and managed to come back from 2-4 down in the 2-4 down in the third set. Morning. Been a while, maybe for you. I mean, definitely not for me. Yesterday in the evening, we were watching Sablefield and Fields, of course. Yesterday in the morning, we were watching Kazor Rublev. So I've been here and there, but right now Alexander Bublik, Jiri Lehecka, breakpoint in the first service game of the Kazakh already. He goes for this forehand drop shot. Lehecka should track it down quite easily, and he manages to play this slice approach down the line as well. It's a break right away. It's a great position for Lehecka to kick off the match and potentially maybe even take the first set. Someone on Twitter, someone from Twitter commenting over 9.5 games first set. I mean, these sort of things are lotteries to me. The thing that's not working in your favor right now is that Lehecka is up a break, and if they just keep holding until the end of the match, until the end of the set, we are basically on a 9 potentially. And that's kind of a lottery always over 9.5 to me, because it really so much depends on who's serving first and who starts, who gets the first break and who was serving first. Because if we swapped the serves here, then it would be 6-4, of course. Of course, they might not end up holding their serves until the end of the set, so we'll see. But yeah, that was definitely a crazy match between Lehecka and Khachanov. Jiri surviving so many tricky spots, so getting himself so many sticky situations. Earlier, he also beat Fucovic 7-5 in the third, so a couple of free set victories for him so far. Last year, he had a pretty decent Dubai showing. That was his debut then, and he lost to Alexander Zverev in 3 sets. We were definitely kind of waiting around for the upset there. That was right after the Australian Open and all these events where Lehecka did very, very well last year at the beginning of the season. So definitely was a popular sort of trendy upset pick, Lehecka, for beating Zverev in Dubai. I think that was also after that Doha run that he had where he lost to Murray in that crazy semi. So last year maybe he was perceived as a bigger threat going into the event, but now of course, yeah, absolutely he is in it to sort of potentially even make the final. He plays very well, Bublik, then Rublev or Korda. It's not impossible for him, although of course Andrei could be a bit of an issue. We saw last match yesterday how Rublev like fully took the first strike away from Kazo, really limited his ability to attack off the ground, and well, Lehecka will probably struggle to avoid the same, although not to the same extent, obviously. Yeah, and when it comes to Bublik, as I already mentioned, he played Rikspor, he played Thomas Mahac, also another match that he was like really in trouble in against Mahac. The first set he was just blown off the court by all the backheads down the line that the Czech was finding and the early timing of his, but eventually, yeah, we saw another match where Bublik is just so determined and so focused on grinding his way to the win that he managed to pull it off anyway. Some erratic hitting from Lehecka in this game, and we are at 30 all. Definitely has the upper hand in most of these exchanges so far. As soon as the Bublik, serve is neutralized on return, he's basically been dealing the blows and seeing what sticks. But another miss here will get Alexander Bublik a breakpoint. This one was fully on Lehecka, though. He gets a pretty short return, tries to approach the net right after his +1 shot, but he just misses it, so perhaps Bublik can restore that break right away. Great serve, and his serve and volleys not necessarily in the easiest position, though, and he indeed throws out the forehand one. Was it that tough? But then again, there wasn't much time to react, so we are going to be back on serve as the two have traded some early breaks after 9 minutes. Pace of play, definitely expecting it to be pretty fast, right, on this court. Yesterday, the 2 tie breaks from Bublik and Rikspor, I don't think they even lasted 2 hours. When it comes to any previous meetings between Bublik and Lehecka, they haven't played actually, so of course this is the first time. Kind of adding to the intrigue. Both on a rather decent start of the year, for sure. Bublik getting like that sort of consistency that he's never really been able to, besides the Australian Open, where he had that one major flop this year. Whereas Lehecka, of course, maybe he hasn't been as consistent. But then again, in Rotterdam a couple of weeks ago, he has 3 match points against Hubert Hurkacz in the opening round. He takes that, and maybe the outlook on his season would be a bit different. But the main thing, of course, for Lehecka this year was just claiming that first ATP title in Adelaide. That kind of just shapes our perspective on his campaign so far completely, in a completely different manner. Because otherwise it would be like kind of average, kind of mediocre. But this quarterfinal in Dubai is pretty big as well. I think in the current point system, it is 100 points for him already, with a potential 100 more if he wins this match. Gets to the net here, and that's a perfect volley. He wishes he would have played that on the previous point, obviously, when he got broken, but it was slightly easier, but still the technique from below the net here, and how much feel he still got on it. Pretty awesome. That has been talked about a billion times already, but that really well, both the serve improvements and also the transition game, the volleying, that really raised his potential at the end of 2023, well, at the end of 2022, beginning of 2023, when after the off season he came out playing much more freely inside the forecourt, just allowing him to wrap up points more efficiently. Great forehand winner down the line from Bublik, but the next rally he's again on the defense, forehand squash shot, and actually he gets out of it quite well. I mean, he's really back to neutral here. And it's Lehecka who's going to miss first. Clenched fist from Bublik as well. So I guess we are again seeing that guy, who has been showing up on our screens this year and kind of doesn't resemble the Alexander Bublik of the old on in many situations and many occasions. It's a double fault from Bublik though, this time not going for the second serve as his, first serve as his second serve. Of course, that's a classic Bublik strategy, and he, in fact, against Thomas Mahaj in this event, he went for a huge second serve at 5-all in the first set tiebreak. However, he's not always been doing that this year, definitely not. I think his double fault count has gone down as well a little bit. This time he definitely wasn't trying to go full power edit. But he finds an ace here, 40-30. And he's back at it with another ace. Of course, this court is quite, let's say, ace-oriented, if you may, ace-heavy. Yesterday we had Artur Kazoo pulling off something like 16 out of 58 against Andrei Rublev. Of course, it didn't matter eventually because he lost 4-6, 4-6, but it did keep him in the match. I think without that sort of serve botting from him yesterday, it easily could have been a 2-6, 2-6 even, or a scoreline of, or a similar scoreline. So after 14 minutes, 2 games all, let's see if Lehecka can get back to winning ways in terms of the games. That's great play from him, just quality serve, pretty deep at the Bublik body, sets him up for a nice +1, and he cleans it up without any issues either. Clean as you know what. I guess for someone like Lehecka right now, it's must be kind of frustrating that he's not the hottest prospect in Czech men's tennis anymore. Well, he was only there really for like 2 years probably, because in the juniors it was always for ATEC. Then when Lehecka broke through first, he probably became that guy. But right now, everyone's probably just talking about Menchik, and Lehecka might be a little forgotten, so he will be trying to hit back. There's definitely a lot of sort of ranking gain that he can do in the, let's say, summer or thereabouts, because last year, other than Winston-Salem, the second half of the year really wasn't that impressive from him. So a big run here, and we are already talking a significant increase of his ranking points. That's another great point from Lehecka, and he holds to go 3-2 up. Currently, Jiri is 32nd in the live rankings. If he manages to win today and Korda loses, then he would go up to 29. Potentially a title could get him up to 23, which would be which would allow him to tie his career high, but that's also provided Davidovich Fokina wouldn't be in the final. A big mess. Anyway, yeah, he might get into the top 30 again if he wins this. Actually, he would be guaranteed to get back into the top 30 after this week. I think if he wins. No, actually, that's also not true because that would require neither of Draper, Kecmanovic, Kepfer to win Acapulco. But long story short, he will be in a pretty good spot in terms of fighting for a seeding position at Roland Garros at Wimbledon. I think, considering that his spring summer of last year they weren't that strong. I mean, there were some, Miami third round, Monte Carlo third round, but basically not that much to speak of, especially on clay. So there is a lot of potential for him to gain until Wimbledon, probably. And then after that, he did have a couple of decent showings as well, of course, with Winston-Salem, then a losing streak towards the end of the year. So I think it's pretty likely that we might get to see Jiri Lehecka, let's say in the top 25 at some point this year. Currently in the race, also live, he is 21st. 15 points ahead of Jakub Mensik. Alexander Bublik about to serve, who, by the way, in case anyone was interested, just to compare, he is 13th in the live race. Of course, picking up a title, both of them so far, but Bublik also had a couple of deeper runs. Good morning, everyone. Yes. Did you see Shelton Arnaldi yesterday? It was a great match. The crowd had really good energy. Yeah, absolutely. I did watch it, actually. I didn't watch Kovacevic Rune as I planned, but instead I watched Shelton Arnaldi and then went back to bed. Yeah, certainly the shot making from both was pretty sensational. The defensive gets, lots of good footwork in the defense as well from Shelton, not only from Arnaldi. And as you said, the crowd definitely was reacting to it quite well. Third set, Arnaldi just had a couple of horror service games, really, when he missed every shot, and that's that's a bit of a thing for Arnaldi these days. Now that he's so aggressive, and he's probably gonna at some point balance it out a bit better. I think he's gonna grow into that new version of his game as well. But all in all, yeah, it was a very fun match. Eventually, I don't think I missed that much from Rune Kovacevic, especially considering that I actually watched the first set tiebreak, so I probably watched the most important part of it anyway. Court speeds in Dubai, I mean, it's extremely fast. Just like the women's. Bublik always doesn't look serious. That's kinda changed. That has kinda changed for him this year. Taking a very different approach to even that serving, but also the simple rallying, and I would say maybe even to how determined he can be when things not go his way. There's really been some major change-ups in the Bublik attitude, which are responsible for him basically becoming like a top 20-ish player, I guess. I think he's 21st in the rankings right now, but definitely has a good shot of getting up there. In fact, he could do it with just a win here, but that also would depend on other results. These other results being Davidovich Fokina and Baez. But yeah, it's definitely quite open to him. He still hasn't had too many big slam runs, or also not the not ATP 1000 runs. So if he can improve in these, especially, that would be a massive chance for him. Right now he holds, still hasn't won a point, I think, after a drop shot, as Lehecka punished that one, but it was the only point that he won in the game, so some large black tape on the Czech's right shoulder. So far doesn't really seem to be bothering him, but we'll see. Shevchenko had had it on his elbow right against Medvedev, and it was definitely making him like even he was even grimacing after some forehands. Medvedev yesterday, I also hear that he was kind of struggling on his own serve. I don't think he hit an ace in the entire match, despite the quick courts. That's seemingly some very nice attacking play from Lehecka, but the half volley just isn't good enough. Still, it required Bublik to get a lot of good control on the finishing pass. So 15-30 now, and things are getting quite tricky for the Czech. Especially as he now misfires a forehand. So 2 breakpoints for Bublik, who was of course down in the match early on, but at present he is definitely healing back. One more opportunity to come. To break in the third game of the first set was so good. I actually think the better one was the one he set up the breakpoint with. The forehand pass cross court. The one that made it to social media was only good because he fell on the floor and won. And he won, of course, because of a Shelton missed smash or whatever it was. I can't remember if it was like a smash or just an overhead volley. But I think the point previous on the previous point was actually much better. The forehand pass on the run where he found this very sharp angle cross. They kind of should have been there in like a bulk. They should have just posted both points, honestly. Again, similar pattern with Lehecka going to the net after the serve, but like not getting a good enough volley opportunity, really. I mean, he has to have volley, he has to lift it a little bit, and Bublik just passes him with the backhand. So despite saving the 2 breakpoints, still more to come, and still the third opportunity for Bublik now. I think Lehecka's missed that serve, so Bublik will definitely be looking at it as a massive chance by now. Should be in the rally as well. Oh, Lehecka's ball hits the net and it kind of jumps so high up into the air. You don't really know what's gonna happen with it, but it falls on Bublik's side. So back at deuce. I mean, sometimes you have to just leave it all to luck, despite Jensen Brooksby saying that net courts are not that net courts have nothing to do with luck. I'd say something unpleasant about doping tests not being and showing up for doping tests not being part of luck, but well, let's give the guy a break. He actually might be back very soon. I wonder if he's gonna get an Indian Wells wildcard or if he's just gonna start a little slower someplace. Maybe the Phoenix Challenger in the second week of Indian Wells, or maybe he just needs a lot more time to practice. Who knows? I don't think the Indian Wells wildcards have been announced anyway. I wonder if Jakub Mensik might get one as he withdrew from the qualifying, or did he just need more rest? Indian Wells definitely has been a bit more American with their wildcards than Miami, but well, Mensik could actually get one. Like, it's not impossible. Miami usually it mostly matters if you're part of IMG, right, rather than your nationality. And that's 4-3 Lehecka, so a very crucial game going his way. 3 breakpoints saved, 1 because of a massive net cord, but it is what it is. He did play pretty well on the second one, especially. Of course, these players, Lehecka, Bublik, they will all be in Indian Wells and Miami. No surprises there. That's their next that's their next plans on the calendar. I don't think either signed up for Phoenix either, so it will be just Indian Wells and Miami there in the Sunshine Double for them. Will we see any underarms from Bublik, do you think? So far, nope. But I think he hit one maybe this week already against someone. Am I misremembering that? I don't know. Let's say there will be one. Why not? The double net cord. Whose match was that? I don't know. Fonseca for Indian Wells? No. No. I would be very surprised if he does get one for Indian Wells. And I also don't think that it's true that they have no one to give it to, really, because you definitely have Cressy, right? You have Brooksby, you have Kovacevic, you have who else is there? Mo, you can also give to Mo. Nava is always a popular choice with the US. Svida, I think Svida will get it realistically because he's from California. Patrick Gibson, I think he definitely deserves one and will probably get it. I just don't think that Indian Wells will be one to give out wildcards to Fonseca or anyone really else for that matter, who's just not from the States and, kind of just a good prospect. But I might be wrong, obviously. Just looking at it last year, Brandon Holt, Jack Sock, Dominic Thiem, Yibing Wu, and Alexander Kovacevic. They seem to be. I wonder how Ibing got the wild card. I don't remember it already. Was it just because he won Dallas? I guess it was because he won Dallas. So Menchik, I think, is more possible than Fonseca at this stage. I think so. In 2022, it was Sok, Kyrgios, Steve Johnson, Sam Querrey, and Andy Murray. So, yeah, all in all, I think Menchik is possible. Fonseca, I would be surprised if he gets one for Indian Wells. 2021, Wolves, Svida, Sok, Murray, and Holger Rune. Yeah, Rune actually did get one in 2021. That's true. But what were the results that he got before that? 2021. I guess not much actually, but there was a part of, let's say, 2020, 2021 when Rune was getting a ton of wildcards and wasn't really doing that much with them either. But I guess, yeah, 2021, of course, Indian Wells, that was the October edition. So that's why Rune got one. Okay, because in March it wouldn't make sense. Andre could get it. Yes, Andre could absolutely get it. Lehecka now 15-30 down. I will get back to the chat in a second as we have to see what will happen here. Bublik defending pretty well with the forehand squash shot. Again, the approach shot from Lehecka is just not sharp enough at all. He kind of just feeds the ball right to Bublik. He didn't even have to make like one additional step from this position, you know? Probably Lehecka was aiming for another target there, but yeah, I mean, Bublik just lines up for the forehand pass and there's nothing that Lehecka can do. So 2 more breakpoints coming his way, and he will break as well. Just gets a pretty tough return to Lehecka, who has to hit the volley on the stretch, and he misses it. So since the early days of this match, since love to down, Bublik has definitely been the better player, the one creating more opportunities, but also just the one that's not spraying as much, you know. And yeah, he's really not keen to go on any walkabouts so far. Yeah, what else was there? Are you surprised Max Hoke has not progressed higher? No, not at all, actually. I think this week is obviously really good for him because of the altitude. He will be pretty dangerous to Mike Schack or Emery in the semis to me, but I'm not too surprised he's around 300 in the rankings now. Like that's how he's been playing basically. He got to the challenger level, of course, in a very explosive manner, winning all these ITFs, but at the challenger level he's kind of sucked. Such an exciting matchup this. I'm starting to warm to Bublik. I used to not like him due to his on-court antics and behaviors as Jean. Yeah, and I mean the change up in Bublik's attitudes definitely can bring you to like him now. Isn't Agassi gonna have a job now or something? Broadcasting? I read something like that. Halle, Antwerp, and Montpellier this year. So we're probably thinking about 3 titles since June. And yeah, Keen, I am following the potential Kozlov comeback. I'm also going to be following the Emery Mike Schack match, obviously. But let's see if Alexander Bublik gives us anything more to follow in this opening set, or is he just going to continue, dominating to an extent? Because to be honest, I mean, he's just been very solid. There's going to be a challenge on the baseline here, but it's not even on the baseline. Like it's literally way before it. So a bit of a weird thought from Bublik, but well, 15-all. Bublik tries to go for this forehand drop shot cross court. I don't know if it would have given the point to him if it landed, but it doesn't land in. So 15-30 now. Just a little bit of weird decision making, I guess, because even on that previous return, that Lehecka barely landed into, not even that barely, but like landed just before the baseline. Bublik was like already, the point is done, point is mine. He didn't even like attempt to hit it back. So we'll see if maybe there will be some mental frailties here. Is he going to be as fragile as usually, or is he going to be a mental fortress? Well, to this one we haven't really seen it, I guess, but he manages to hit a very good second serve. Just lots of spin, lots of depth, and it's enough to get an error from Lehecka. Is it brave, or is he actually quite shaky and tense, and that's why it ended up being so close to the line? Who knows? But again, it wasn't that that usual first serve bomb instead of a second serve, right? It was just a kicker. Anyway, 40-30 now. Bublik's out wide serve and volley. I don't think he's had an ace so far in this game, so could definitely use one right here on the set point just to make Lehecka go away for sure in the opener. It's a big serve. Lehecka chips his return. And wow, what a passing shot from the Czech. Chips that return, makes the ball just slightly uncomfortable for Bublik. But I still thought that Bublik did a pretty good job on the approach shot. But Lehecka is just there on the run, full speed forehand pass down the line. Beautiful shot, maybe the best one of the match so far. But a big serve will get Bublik another set point, as he is a little amused after a lot of these points. I'm not sure about what, but oh, and it turns out that the serve was actually out. If Lehecka challenged it, it would have been second serve Bublik. But he didn't. So that's why you have another set point. What was the match? I think Kazor-Rublev yesterday, where there was a key point on which Rublev, not Rublev, but Kazor didn't challenge, and the serve was actually in. Now it's Bublik challenging the court, but I think that serve was a long way widened along. So second serve on the second set point. Lehecka trying to open up the court for him with the forehand cross. I think he's going to challenge, or it's Bublik who's challenging. I don't even know. But someone is challenging anyway. And my gut tells me that Lehecka probably missed the shot. But let's see. He did. So 6-4. Set point has been converted. Alexander Bublik takes the opener. And honestly, since love to down, he's been pretty dominant. Obviously, he's won 6 games. Lehecka has won 2. But even in how the games were going, right? Bublik is saying that earlier Hawkeye that he took on his serve, that it probably wasn't right given what he sees on the ground. But of course, he's won the set. Not the most important thing at the moment, even for him. Something tells me Medi's not gonna retain his title, like always. Yeah, it is pretty insane that Medvedev is like that. That he's got 20 titles and they are at 20 different events. It is pretty crazy. And I think Rublev also hasn't won a title twice, right? But he's at like 14 or something like that. So obviously for him, it's not that big a storyline yet. And especially considering what we sort of expect from Rublev and what we expect from Medvedev, how many big titles Medvedev has won compared to Rublev, it's a bit of a difference for sure. Actually, 15, sorry, that Rublev has won by now. And can Fokina pull off the upset win today? I honestly didn't see the Medvedev Sonego match yesterday, so that's why I can't really reply to this, because I heard that Daniel had some tape on his shoulder and wasn't serving, at 100%. I can't tell you. After watching the match against Shevchenko, it was a good warm up for him. That's all I can really say. So, not sure. I mean, I would still go Medvedev just, based on overall quality, overall sort of maybe even comfort level on this court. However, I hear that there was something that might have changed my opinion if I watched the Sonego match, but I don't know. And obviously, Gene, you're right that Fokina is absolutely one of the hardest players to read, because he is one of the hardest sort of players to understand, and he can't really maximize his skill set, right? I mean, he is obviously very talented, but doesn't always bring the right tools to a match, let's say, and doesn't always know exactly what to do with that. With that skill set that he has. So it would make a lot of sense for Davidovich Fokina to be a player who's tough to read. Thank you guys. Definitely, you're always nice to me. I mean, I don't really remember anyone not being nice on the chat to anyone really, but that's precisely what I was referring to, Gene. I don't know, not against Shevchenko, but apparently against Sonego. That was the case. And I think earlier there was also who has the biggest serve under 6 foot. Is any of the guys that are like I think are 6 foot, are they under? Like, is Watanuki under 6 foot, for example? I would have to check that. But if he is, I would say probably say Watanuki. He is 5'11" apparently. So yeah, I'm going with Yosuke Watanuki since Kazo and Wawrinka are out of the consideration. So that's why I'm gonna go for Watanuki. What players have the worst forehand compared to their backhands? I mean, Per and Gasquet. Yeah, you mentioned Per. Gasquet is the other big one. Used to be Nakashima. I don't think that's precisely the case anymore. Maybe, but I think Nakashima definitely used to be a contender for that award as well. What a great defensive point again from Alexander Bublik, by the way, and he's like in full grinder mode again. Just gets a perfect lob on the baseline. Oh, but that's on Lehecka. That's a wild volley miss. He's touching the strapping on his shoulder as well. Let's see if that maybe becomes a bigger issue as the match goes on. But to be honest with you, a break here and the match might not be going on that much longer either. Again, there's a serve and volley attempt. This time it's much better though. The chopped return that Bublik was gonna try to feed to Lehecka here. It was just way too slow, and the check got to the net on very good timing now. One more breakpoint for Bublik though. And again, Lehecka is serving volleying. I mean, by now I'm kind of wondering if that's not, partially caused by whatever that shoulder thing is. But, well, let's see. And that's a double fault as well. So that's a set and a break lead for Bublik, who is now sort of looking over to Lehecka to see if he's fully all right. And yeah, it's a perfect start to the second set for Bublik, who obviously hit that beautiful lob, but was also fed a couple of easy errors. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's like a couple better examples with the forehand backhand thing. Escoffier used to be one as well. Hmm. I don't know, like, is Kachanov a thing? Probably not. Tiafoe, is he an answer? Like, not the worst compared to their backhands, but they are probably their worst shots. But yeah, Per, Gasquet, I think these are obviously the main ones. Yeah, 0 aces yesterday, Medvedev. That's what I heard exactly. Is Iji any good? Is Iji cheating? What do you mean by cheating? I mean, since love 2 down in the first set, Bublik has been completely dominating the match by just staying super solid and basically outplaying Lehecka like that. The Czech has hit a couple of pretty random errors as well the last few games. We'll see if it's sort of related to that shoulder maybe bothering him a bit, because after that missed volley in the previous game, he was like touching that strapping there, and the double fault as well, the serving on the last couple of points in the first game of the second set did look to me like it was a little hampered, but we will see. Yeah, now forehand into the middle of the net. Again, he's touching that strapping on the right shoulder. Things not looking too bright for Lehecka, definitely not. He did have two very long matches. That's absolutely true. Was it 2 days in a row though? I don't remember when he played his first match. Was it Monday or? I have to check that actually. But yeah, obviously, yeah, it was 2 days in a row. Yeah, maybe something flared up in the meantime. but he really needs to get himself going very quickly here if he is to stay alive in this match. 6-4 to love for Bublik now. And let's see how that serving from Jiri will be looking like. Yeah, what a great defensive point from Bublik. A year ago, you didn't associate these words with him. That's kind of true, but definitely he used to have like a random point here or there. I remember like a few years ago, maybe when I was in Marseille 2020, like writing this article on him that was titled like something like Bublik, a man of contradictions or something, which yeah, I think this kind of nicely reflected how Bublik was first both like an asshole sometimes, but also seemingly a very nice person off the court, and yeah, just the whole intricacies of his game. However, these days, definitely you see a lot more effort from Bublik, at least this year, and probably even we can track it back to Halle, right? To the grass season of last year, and he's probably gaining fans this way. Is anyone covering the Demon Staff match? Not myself. I don't know otherwise, but not myself. I guess Ruth Shelton is the only one I'm gonna watch from Acapulco tomorrow. And again, that's not really because I'm not interested in the other matches. I'm probably also would really like to see Kepfer Rune, but well, it's just the time zone thing in Mexico being very tough for us Europeans, especially when they start their matches at 4 p.m. because that is the main issue. Let's be honest. Looks like Lehecka might get this game here. Goes to the net and Bublik just misses the pass. His serving does look a little bit better in this game, so that's good for him. That the arm maybe isn't bothering him that much. However, on this second serve, he doesn't really get the full leg drive in it either. Let's see. But Bublik will still shank. So 6-4, 2-1. Lehecka, for now, still keeping himself in it. And let's see if he can cause Bublik any trouble from here on. Lehecka was not very liked for a while, was caught liking some quite offensive tweets. Really? Another great win for Kepfer. Yeah, I mean, beating Tiafoe right now is nothing. Like, you kind of expected it, right? I mean, did you think that Kepfer was gonna lose against Tiafoe? I don't know. I mean, it was like a 50-50 probably with Francis's form. It would be a pretty big thing for him to beat Rune, though. But obviously, he's a tricky rival to Holger. A focused Kepfer is really a tricky rival to anyone. I just don't like the performances he has from time to time, like against Liam Draxl. Yeah, Gene, I agree. I don't think it's really an upset. Now there's a medical timeout for Lehecka, so the suspicions we've had, they're coming true. But is he actually gonna get treated for the shoulder, or is it going to be anything else? Yeah, they're showing that volley that I mentioned earlier, after which he was just checking out that strapping on the arm. But he's lying down, so I think it might actually be something with his leg that he's gonna get treated for. I mean, if it is indeed, then he's just full on falling apart then. But no, they're touching the neck, the arm now, I guess, as well. No, it's not actually. Yeah. It's his neck that the physio is treating now. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what's wrong, but certainly he's having issues, and it's been hampering his performance in this match for sure. Kozlov with the break, Keen still following that Rwanda match. Indeed, I mean, if this match is short, Bublik Lehecka, that's good for us. We're just gonna follow the Rwanda action. Kigali, the most interesting challenger of the week. Actually, it's not that bad, right? I mean, definitely Emery Makshak on altitude, that's interesting. And Kozlov has been delivering the entertainment. He's not only there for the laughs, but he's also been actually delivering the entertainment and well, the chaos, yes, the quality in the matches. Let's say he also has been more or less. Definitely makes for a bit of a funky watch. Now it's the arm getting treatment, so it's both the neck and the right arm. Perhaps the muscles are connected in some way or whatever, but there's some gel that the physio is applying and just massaging that arm. But yeah, things are not looking too great, obviously, for Lehecka. If that's a problem, he's that's seriously bothering him, and it's been the past couple of games. And Bublik, since the very beginning of the match, has not been troubled on serve either. So we might be looking at a quarterfinal exit for the Czech really soon. Bublik Rublev semifinal, Bublik Korda semifinal. This would be very interesting as well. Lehecka Korda or Lehecka Rublev too. Kozlov is playing in Rwanda in Kigali. He is currently in the quarterfinals of that challenger, first challenger ever on in Rwanda, and he is up a break in the second set on Ishai Oliel of Israel, although Oliel won the first set. Yesterday, Kozlov beat Daniel Zuckerman, also of Israel, and in the first round, he actually beat Clement Tabour, the second seed of that event. So it was pretty good. Yes, Braxton Jiri is hurt, currently taking a medical timeout on his arm, and also his neck was getting some treatment. It's basically that strapping that he's had on his right shoulder that's been bothering him. And especially after a couple of volleys earlier, it was clear. And even right now, he's like not putting in that much effort into his second serve, especially. Bublik beat Rublev in Halle last year, yes, and then lost to him at Wimbledon in 5 sets. And to Keen's question, if I got sponsored, would I have liked to go to a challenger in Rwanda? Of course. I mean, that's one of the most exciting places to visit, I think, on the challenger tour right now. I mean, just something completely different to my usual trips, right? But yeah, the sponsoring part is, of course, important. And basically, it would be cheaper for me to fly to the States than to Rwanda, which might seem kind of crazy, but that's what it is. Ace from Bublik here, 30-15. Looks like my curse is still very much active, and I'm talking about that all the matches that look exciting and that I'm gonna be doing commentary on. They usually end in straights. Usually, like after 30 minutes, we already know who's gonna win. That's kind of what it was yesterday as well against with Fils and Saboville. That's when it was against Kazo and Rublev. But as I said, I think a week ago or something, maybe it's just that most tennis matches don't really live up to our expectations of them. Maybe it's just tough for most matches to be like that, and I guess that's a fair point. I will congratulate myself on my point from the past and just say, yeah, Damien, you were right. Lehecka now in full-on serve and volley mode. Can't quite get to this pass again. forehand goes wide here as well. I don't know if he's considering retiring. I don't think his body language looks like it, but he's definitely hurt and not really able to perform up to his usual standard, or even, push Bublik right now too much. Still, Bublik has been like no BSing, right? I mean, he's just playing the match and getting the points that he can right now, sort of in an avalanche because of how Lehecka is feeling, but definitely no distractions from Bublik so far, and just playing as solid as he can and getting what he can out of the whole situation, essentially. Another forehand miss from Lehecka. I mean, especially on the forehand motion, it seems like the injury, the issue is bothering him. I guess it makes sense because, well, on the backhand he can kind of help himself out, right, with the left arm, but he can't really pull that off on the forehand. Maybe he should start hitting both double-handers, forehand and backhand, and somehow try to survive. But Monika Seles it, but it might be too late as well for that sort of approach, and it probably would be unsuccessful anyway. Still 2 more breakpoints to come for Bublik after he misses the return here. Another chopped return, just throws the ball to Lehecka and asks, what are you going to do with it? However, Lehecka produces that backhand cross and Bublik can't quite absorb it. So 1 more breakpoint only. And of course, it's not like Bublik is under any monumental pressure here, but yeah, just getting to 2 breaks up would obviously be like a bit of a final nail in the coffin, and just allow him to play a lot more freely, I guess, from now on. Let's see if Lehecka gets that second serve into play at all. He does. It's a little short on the return from Bublik, but Lehecka is just not going to make any forehands right now. So it's 6-4, 4-1, 2 breaks, and in fact, Jiri Lehecka says that the match is over. He's going to retire. Probably the right call. I mean, there was no winning from that point, and you don't want to aggravate the injury before the Sunshine Double. It's a shame, but well, that's what it is. So yeah, I guess as usual, the match that I was going to do, the match that looked so exciting, ends up being a bit of a dud. Still a solid performance from Bublik. He hit a couple of great passes and lobs. Eventually, Lehecka was just unable to keep going, really, because of the injury. No forehand was easy for him anymore. No serve was really easy for him anymore either. So, well, it is what it is. Alexander Bublik is the first semi-finalist of the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships. I think that's how the event is called. And he's going to play Sebastian Korda or Andrei Rublev. And from me, that's going to be it for today. Thank you, guys. A bit like an hour of streaming, but yes, Braxton, Jiri did retire. So again, thank you, and I'll see you guys some other time. Do we have our producer?
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. If there's one match from Rafa's story where you think that was a missed opportunity, there was a big chance.
There have matches.
2
or 3 in Australian Open. No more. We lose the opportunity in Wimbledon against Djokovic in semi-final.
2018.
Then we lose the opportunity, more important because that was semi-final. We lose the opportunity in Australian Open. In the Australian Open 2014, 2012 and 2017.
Yeah.
In 14 because he has an injury against Wawrinka that before he had never lose against him. Then with Djokovic and Federer, he had breakup in the fifth.
Yeah.
And 40-30 or the 30-50. I
Yeah.
don't remember well. It was a ball very close, goes up. But this is what happened. There was in Roland Garros 2009. Of course, I am sure that he won. He will win. He won this tournament when he has no problems in his knee, because at this moment he was the best. He won Australian Open, then he won the tournaments on clay, and he arrived with problems in Roland Garros. For this reason, in my opinion, he lose. But there are others time that maybe he has to lose and he won.
Ready. Play.
No. Oh, okay. Hi, Botic. First of all, how was the training session today?
Yeah, I think we had a good practice session. First we played some doubles, and yeah, we ended with some single points. So it was a long one, but I think we played some good level. So I think everybody's happy in the team, and I think we're ready for Italy.
And you seem like you're having fun as well.
Yeah, definitely. The team is having a lot of fun. We know each other quite well. We play already quite some time with each other. So yeah, and off court we hang out a lot. So it's nice. Yeah, it's a good atmosphere, I think.
Good. You mentioned in your press conference earlier about some of the difficulties you had this year. Obviously, an injury following that loss to Runa. But you said also that was quite a mental challenge as well, getting over that loss, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think I was 29 after Munich, or top 30. I don't know the ranking by number, but yeah, then up playing with an injury for a while, having to stop, picking up another one, losing some points, and yeah, going to 60, 70. It's difficult. I think it's also part of tennis, but I never had it before. So I think the first time is always tough when you go down in the rankings.
Was the Runa sort of injury in that final as well? Was that distracting for you, or did that not bother you at all?
No, not during the final. No, definitely not. So yeah, from Madrid on to Rome, Roland Garros. Then I stopped for 2 weeks. Had to miss the Dutch grass tournament, and then I started playing again with some difficulties. And then afterwards I twisted my ankle, so I was out again for a couple of weeks. So yeah, I came back during US Open, and then have to find the rhythm, the movement. Of course, everything in the beginning is tough when you didn't play for a while. So yeah, I think at the end of the year I picked up some good wins, and I played a little bit better tennis. So yeah, that's also giving a confidence boost.
I'm gonna just ask you a question. Just want to show you some pictures, and I just want you to tell me what you think. Okay, here's the first one, and you can probably see it. What's your first thoughts when you see this picture?
I think we played a terrible doubles in Rotterdam. Yeah, I think we played Jiri. No, I'm not sure actually. Who did we play here? Jiri Vliegen, I think. That's correct, huh? Yeah, we didn't win, so no, but we had fun. I think we always have fun when we play together with the doubles. So yeah.
Are you expecting to play both doubles and singles this week?
Not sure. There are some options, so we have a lot of options in doubles. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Who's better.
Next picture is this one, which is from US Open 2021. Are your overall thoughts positive, or do you still think that did you dream bigger even then?
No, I think overall, I think this was against Schwartzman.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, first quarter final. Yeah, when you're gonna start in qualies, when somebody says you're going to be in the quarterfinals, I think you sign for it. So no, really positive feeling about this one, and I think Medvedev was just too good in the quarters. I think the whole tournament he was just too good.
Yeah. Next picture is this one.
I'm not eating cheese.
You're not eating cheese?
No, not like on bread and stuff, or no, I don't eat cheese a lot. Let's say.
You know you have something with Rafa Nadal. He doesn't eat cheese either.
No? Yeah. Oh, that's a good thing, huh, maybe. No, it's no, I don't eat it like other Dutch people. Like they always had it for breakfast and everything. But yeah, I'm like I'm not eating this one.
This picture, you and him shaking hands at the left. What does this make you think of?
Yeah, first time I played him, I think in the beginning I was a little bit overwhelmed, like he walking on court, and yeah, then they say all his best results he won it like a couple of times. So
At least it wasn't Philippe Chatrier, I guess. I don't know if that made any difference.
no, that's true. We played on Suzanne Lang, eh? Yeah. So yeah, but I think it was great first match against him there. First 2 sets. Didn't play quite well, but yeah, of course.
The last picture I have for you is...
Yeah, I think Djokovic at the moment is... Yeah.
Is it impossible?
Yeah, I think it's tough to argue with somebody who's winning so many titles. But yeah, then you have Roger. He is like... did so much for the sport, I think. And he's like... I think they're all different in a way. So... I think it's tough to say somebody is the GOAT, but on results-wise, yeah, you have to go with Djokovic, of course. But yeah, maybe classy-wise, maybe you go Federer, and I think Rafa is what he's doing. Like Shields was asking a nice question, actually. He said if 2 of the Grand Slams would have been on clay and not on hard, for example, how many would Rafa have won? Yeah, I think they're all great, amazing players. Maybe the best 3 players at the same time we're gonna see for a long time.
Thank you, Botic.
Thank you. No worries.
Thank you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.